This girl, Caitlyn Clark, has basically put women's basketball on her back.
True.
They had more viewership in the college tournament than the WNBA whole entire playoffs.
Okay. Cool. We understand that this is what's motivating them to do it. It's a young white girl that people are drawing to. Cool. Let's just get the draw going.
Caitlyn would have to be the person to speak up for the others, though.
No.
What do you think about that?
You can follow by example. Michael Jordan came and Bird and Magic were the staples in the league.
Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, two star players, two very different paths in the public eye. Joe Budden's got something to say about it, and you won't believe what he thinks Reese should do. Is he onto something, or is this just another hot take? Picture this, Angel Reese at an NFL game, cameras flashing, living it up in the spotlight. Now, flip the script. Caitlyn Clark's in a quiet gym, just her and the hoop putting in work. These two are killing it on the court, but off it, total opposites. Now, Joe Budden's throwing his 2 cents in. He's saying Angel needs to chill, tone it down a bit. But here's the thing, is he right, or is he just stirring the pot? You know what's really wild? We're not just talking about basketball anymore. This is about how you play the game off the court. Is Angel's flashy style the way to go, or should she take a page from Caitlyn's book? Let's break it down and see what's really going on here. You've seen Angel on the court, but have you seen her off it? She's not just playing basketball, she's playing the fame game. But this game comes with its own set of rules and some serious consequences.
Angel Reese is to be completely believed that there's no hate, they both get along, they're cool with each other, they're high-end competitors, etc., etc. And you also are old enough to know that in this society, whether they want to admit it or not, they don't like seeing somebody black coming at somebody white who is a beloved star of theirs. But you've known they were coming for you when you were waving your hands in your face to mock Caitlyn Clark when you were beating her for the national championship.
Angel Reese is everywhere these days. NFL games, TV shows, you name it. She's not just making waves on the court, she's making headlines off it too. And get this, she's even got her own podcast called Unapologetically Angel. Talk about taking the spotlight and running with it. But here's the thing, all this attention isn't just fun and games. Angel's building her brand, sure. She's racking up those sponsorships and connecting with fans like never before. It's like she's creating her own little empire, one Instagram post at a time. But you know what they say about being in the public eye. It's not all glitz and glamour. Angel's been dealing with some serious heat. We're talking death threats, explicit AI images sent to her family, the kind of stuff that makes you wonder if the fame is really worth it. And it gets crazier. In her podcast, Angel spilled the tea about how some fans are taking this rivalry thing way too far. She said, I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it. That's heavy stuff, right?
Basketball is literally a game. Like, I promise you, it's literally a game. We have so much fun with it. But when it comes to death threats, when it comes to people finding, like, I'm talking about people have come down to my address, follow me home. Like, it's come down to that. Multiple occasions, people have made AI pictures of me, like, naked. Literally.
Really?
They have sent it to my family members. My family members are like, uncles are sending it to me like,
no.
Are you naked on Instagram?
It's like the media is pushing this rivalry narrative, and some folks are eating it up in the worst way possible. But here's where it gets real. All this drama isn't just about what Angel does off the court. People are coming at her basketball skills too. It's like she can't catch a break. One minute she's living it up at an NFL game, the next she's defending her game on social media. So what's the deal? Is Angel's bold strategy paying off, or is it backfiring? On one hand, she's got the spotlight, the sponsorships, the connections. She's building her brand in a way that's got everyone talking. But on the other hand, she's dealing with pressure that most of us can't even imagine. It's like Angel's walking a tightrope. Every move she makes in public is under a microscope. One wrong step, one controversial comment, and boom, the internet explodes. But if she plays it safe, will she miss out on opportunities? It's a crazy balancing act. And let's be real, this isn't just about Angel anymore. It's about how young athletes navigate fame in the age of social media.
Whenever you think of Angel Reese, people often mention Caitlyn Clark. You've said in interviews, there's no beef, but the media keeps going on. This is your platform, so how do you feel about that situation?
Caitlyn is an amazing player, and I've always thought she was an amazing player. We've been playing each other since high school, like literally been playing each other since high school, and like knowing that like there's never been beef. At the end of the day, it's a game that we do both love, but there is no hate, no hate. We're gonna play on the same team one day, I'm sure. Like, we're gonna definitely play on the same team one day. So
Maybe
that's
2028.
2028.
Every post, every appearance, every word, it all matters. Angel's showing us the good, the bad, and the ugly of being a sports star in 2023. While Angel's making waves, Caitlyn Clark's nowhere to be seen. It's like she's playing hide and seek with fame. But here's the kicker. Her silence might be louder than Angel's noise. You'd think a star like Caitlyn would be all over the place, right? Wrong. She's keeping it low-key, and it's got everyone talking. Or should I say, whispering? Picture this. While Angel's living it up at NFL games, Caitlyn's chilling at local events. She popped up at a preseason game with the Indiana Pacers and even hit the golf course. Nothing flashy, just Caitlyn being Caitlyn. But don't think for a second that she's slacking off. Nah, Caitlyn's all about that grind. While we're not seeing her on TV or blowing up social media, you can bet she's in the gym, working on her game. It's like she's got tunnel vision, and the only thing in focus is that basketball hoop. Now, you might be thinking, isn't she missing out on all the good stuff? I mean, sponsorships, media exposure, all that jazz. And yeah, you'd have a point. Caitlyn's strategy might mean she's not cashing in on every opportunity that comes her way. But here's where it gets interesting. This whole girl next door vibe, it's working for her. Fans are eating it up. They're not seeing Caitlyn as some untouchable superstar. She's relatable, she's real, and that's got its own kind of power. And let's talk about focus for a second. Without all the distractions, Caitlyn's got all the time in the world to work on her game. No drama, no controversies, just pure basketball.
She's the first rookie to win WNBA Player of the Month since the award's inception in 2010, and last night it was no exception. They were sky high for Caitlyn Clark and the Fever, but to start the season, they had a little bit of a rough go of it. They lost their first 5 games. They ended up 1-8 through their first 9 games, and during that first month, the playoffs, they didn't feel realistic at all. Indy entered the Olympic break 11-15 on the year, and then they really turned it around. They've won 7 of their 8 since. They clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2016, which, by the way, was the last year of Hall of Famer and franchise icon Tamika Catchings.
That's got to count for something, right? But hold up, we can't ignore the flip side. Is Caitlyn missing out on building her brand? Is she letting opportunities slip through her fingers? It's a tough call. On one hand, she's avoiding the drama that comes with being in the spotlight 24/7. On the other hand, she might be leaving money on the table. And get this, Joe Budden's got something to say about it. He's looking at Caitlyn's strategy and thinking, hey, Angel might want to take notes. He said, whoever Reese got is telling her to go pop up everywhere. That's not what Caitlyn Clark's people are saying. Shots fired or solid advice? You decide. So what's the deal? Is Caitlyn playing it smart or playing it safe? Is she building a long-lasting career or missing out on her moment in the sun? It's like she's walking this fine line between staying relevant and staying true to herself. Think about it. In a world where everyone's trying to be seen, Caitlyn's making people look for her. She's not just playing basketball, she's playing chess. Every move is calculated, every appearance is meaningful. It's a different kind of game, but it might just be the winning strategy. But here's the million-dollar question. Can Caitlyn keep this up? As she gets bigger and bigger in the sport, will she be able to stay out of the spotlight, or will the pressure to be more public eventually get to her? Just when you thought the Caitlyn versus Angel debate was cooling down, Joe Budden drops a bombshell. He's got some words for Angel Reese, and they're stirring up a whole new controversy. What's he saying that's got everyone talking? Joe Budden's not holding back. He's looking at Angel Reese and thinking, girl, you need to chill. But here's the kicker. It's not just about basketball. Joe's got a whole game plan for Angel, and it's all about playing the long game in women's sports. Let's break it down. Joe's saying Angel Reese won't sit her footsie off down. There's value in it. Now, that's some strong language, but what's he really getting at? Is he telling Angel to be more like Caitlyn, or is there more to this story? On the surface, it might seem like Joe's just telling Angel to tone it down, but dig a little deeper and you'll see there's a whole lot more going on here. Joe's not just talking about image. He's talking about strategy. He's looking at the big picture of women's sports and thinking, how do you build a lasting career in this game? Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't this about race? And you'd be on to something. Joe says he doesn't want to make it about race, but let's be real. When you're talking about 2 star players with different public images, and one of them is a woman of color, race is part of the conversation, whether we like it or not. Think about it. Angel's been dealing with some serious heat for her public persona, Meanwhile, Caitlyn's keeping it low-key and still getting love. Is it just about their different approaches, or is there something else at play here? But here's where it gets really interesting. Joe's not just talking about Angel toning it down. He's talking about the value of knowing when to step back. It's like he's saying, yeah, the spotlight's great, but sometimes you gotta know when to let it shine on someone else. And you know what? He might be on to something. In the world of sports, especially women's sports, it's not just about how you play the game, it's about how you play the fame game. And that game has got some seriously tricky rules. Joe's looking at Caitlyn's strategy and thinking, that's the way to do it. But is he right? Is keeping a low profile really the key to long-term success in women's sports? Or is Angel's bold approach paving the way for something new? Here's the thing. There's no one-size-fits-all answer here. What works for Caitlyn might not work for Angel, and vice versa. But Joe's comments are sparking some serious conversations about how female athletes navigate fame, deal with media pressure, and build their careers. And let's not forget, this isn't just about Angel and Caitlyn anymore. It's about all the young women coming up in sports, watching how these two stars handle the spotlight. It's about setting the tone for the future of women's sports. So, what's the real message behind Joe's words? Is it about image management? Is it about playing it safe? Or is it about something bigger, like changing the game from the inside out? So, we've got Angel and Caitlyn, two stars playing two totally different games off the court. Angel's out there living it up, while Caitlyn's keeping it low-key. Here's the million-dollar question. Who's got the winning strategy? Maybe there's no right answer. Maybe it's not about following someone else's playbook, but about writing your own. Angel's bold moves are getting her attention, but they're also bringing some serious heat. Caitlyn's quiet game is working for her, but is she missing out on big opportunities? Here's the thing. In women's sports, there's no one-size-fits-all approach. What works for one player might backfire for another. So maybe the real winner isn't the one who follows Joe Budden's advice or anyone else's. Maybe it's the one who stays true to herself no matter what the world says.